Tuesday afternoon, and we are already talking about week 2 of the college football season here in 2023. Poll has come out. Week 1 is in the books, and we have a beautiful list of losers to sit, point, and laugh at, and talk about the games. We'll get to that in a minute. Welcome to the Losership meeting. I am Micah V. First time ever doing the Losership meeting. Y'all have known, y'all heard about it. I've talked about it. Y'all know what the Losership meeting is. But if you're new here, you might be asking, Micah, what is the Losership meeting? The Losership meeting is about the losers of the previous week of college football. We'll talk about the losers. We'll sit, laugh, and point at them. Sit, point, and laugh, whatever you want to describe it. We'll laugh at them and trash talk them and just enjoy this time. This is going to be a good time. I always will enjoy this, recording this video. First ever video. It's going to be like, let's go down the order. We'll go over the biggest losers of the week. It won't be every loser. Of course, that'll take forever. And I really just don't, they're just not worth my time. I'll just take the losers that are worth my time and energy and sit, point, and laugh at them. And then we'll talk about each team, sit, point, and laugh. And then we'll go over teams who won and looked good. We will talk about winners, mainly from the games that we talked about, the teams that we talked about, and we'll go over some other teams that won and looked good and teams that won but looked bad. Ohio State. And then we'll talk about the team of the week, game of the week, coach of the week, and my top 10 after week 1. Now, we will add something to that list as we get closer to the end. We'll add 2 things. My playoff predictions after each week, and then my Heisman finalists, or my Heisman contenders. I'll name some Heisman contenders after each week for about the first 3 or 4 weeks. And then once we get to like week 5, we'll finally figure out who can win the Heisman Trophy. But we'll get all of that at the end. Let's start off with the losers for this week. Let's read off the teams real quick. TCU. Wait, what? Did I read that correctly? Is that what does that say? TCU. Colorado won? Huh? Am I not reading this correctly? Oh, that says TCU. Wow, what a shocker. LSU, wow, what a shocker. Clemson, wow, what a shocker. And then we got 2 dumpster fires in the SEC East, South Carolina and Florida that we're going to talk about, talk point and laugh at those teams. And we'll start out with the 2 dumpster fires in the SEC East. First off, Florida. Florida, you're an absolute embarrassment to the SEC. How in the world... How in the world can you not score on a Pac-12 defense? How? Tell me how in the world. Pac-12 is all about offense. We saw that with Colorado. They were historic on offense. USC, they're historically good at offense and then horrible at defense. Lincoln Riley is head coach at USC. We all know he never has a good defense. Never. And that was part of the reason why Utah didn't win last year. And how in the world do you lose and embarrass yourself like that? And how in the world do you hire a dumpster fire like Billy Napier? Billy Napier doesn't know a thing about college football. Oh my word. He said publicly that, what's his name? The guy's irrelevant. Graham freaking Mertz, the Graham Cracker, that Hay was the best option in the portal. You have other QBs that were way better options than freaking Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz was the reason Wisconsin was so bad these past several seasons. He's gone, and guess what? Wisconsin is really good. And where is he at? A team that's a dumpster fire, with a coach who's a dumpster fire. They could not score if their life depended on it. If someone went to Graham Mertz and Billy Napier and said, you'll lose your lives if you don't score 21 or more points, they wouldn't score points. I mean, it was horrific. That was bad. Running game is non-existent, and that might be part of the reason why was because of their O-line, who was really good last year. Where is that O-line? I don't see them. Where are they? I don't see them. They're gone. And of course, you don't have a running quarterback like Anthony Richardson. The O-line is garbage. How many rushing yards is that? Wait, what? Am I reading that correctly? Is that 20? No. 30? No. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. 13? 13 rushing yards. That is horrible. And my next point says the O-line is garbage. Yep, that's exactly right. The O-line is garbage. They don't know a thing about college football. Billy Napier is way over his head. Only 300 yards passing on 50 attempts. Yes, Graham Mertz had 300 yards passing. DJ Uyunglele had almost 300 yards passing. Had 5 touchdowns on 25 attempts. Sunday, whatever they played. Billy Napier is a dumpster fire and will not be the head coach of Florida anytime soon. And all the recruiting and the thing about the recruiting class about Florida, they have DJ Lagway coming in. They may not even be at Florida. Billy Napier is so bad. They're ruining that program. If he was the one that brought those guys in, Billy Napier might lose those guys and they might be playing somewhere else. Oh man, that was bad. Florida, you embarrassed everyone. You embarrassed. I'm a diehard SEC fan. There's only 2 teams I'll never cheer for. 3 teams I'll never cheer for in the SEC. Auburn, LSU, Tennessee, Alabama's 3 main rivals. And you embarrass the heck out of me. You embarrass us like you're not even playing like an SEC team. You're playing like a freaking shoot. I don't even know. You're worse than a group of 5 teams. Man, you're trash. You're garbage. You're one of the worst teams in the SEC. You may be the worst team in the SEC. Maybe not the worst. Rushing rise, at least. You have Trevor Etienne and Montrell Johnson. They're not going to do anything with your O-line like this. I'm sorry. You have not even a 6-win season coming your way. You're not going to make a bowl game. You might go 4-8. You may even be worse than that. Next dumpster fire on the list, South Carolina. Beamer Bowl. What happened to Beamer Bowl? Well, this game was not as close as the score says it was. 31-17, they lost. To North Carolina. The questions about South Carolina was, can they stop the ball on defense and can they run the ball? A 150-some yards rushing for North Carolina. What does that say? Wait. Micah, how many rushing yards does South Carolina have? I'll let you guess. 30? No. 40. No. You're going. It's not. No. Did they have 100? No. Did they go lower than 30? Yes. 20? No. Now, Mikey, you're telling me that a football game is 60 minutes, and I know the clock with not stopping on first downs has changed, and it doesn't stop. That'll take less time, and it'll take more plays away. But you're telling me in a 60-minute football game that South Carolina had less than 20 yards rushing? Yes. Do they have 10? No. Now, Mikey, you're telling me that they have less than 10 yards rushing. 10 yards is a first down. You may have the worst rushing team in the country. Will every once in a while, and at least once a game, will have a good run play for 10 yards. Well, they didn't have that. You're telling me that they have less than 10 yards rushing? Yes. Are you telling me that they have less than 5 yards rushing? Yes. Now, Micah. I'm having a hard time believing you. You're telling me in a 60-minute football game that South Carolina had 0 rushing yards? No. I'm not telling you that. They did have less than 3. How many did they have, though, Micah? What's that say? -2 yards rushing? Yes, you heard that correctly. South Carolina had -2 yards rushing in this football game. That is the reason why they lost. Spencer Rattler is absolutely horrible. Well, he's not horrible. The offensive line is horrible. Every time I watch South Carolina run on the field, every time we knew that South Carolina is gonna. The offensive line is gonna let Spencer Rattler down, and he's gonna be running for his life every play. I don't even know how they scored 17 points in this game. The offensive line is so bad. Oh, wow! As an Alabama fan, I'm gonna be honest here. I'm glad I'm not in a poverty program like that. Beamer Ball's not popping up this year. They might be Clemson, which we'll get to in a minute. But in fact, we might get to them right now. We'll get to Clemson right now. So I'll wait for Clemson because that's gonna be entertaining. I forgot a team. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's go with Clemson. The team that South Carolina will be meeting up at the end of this season, Thanksgiving weekend, and a team that they might beat. A team that I think will beat Clemson if Clemson doesn't get right. They lost to Duke. How in the world do you lose Dabo Swinney? How in the world do you lose to a team? You're the ninth best team in the country. How in the world do you lose to a team that is named Duke, or mostly known as Puke? Duke is horrible at sports. No, I'm kidding. I was a drastic, wrong comment there. Duke's football is going up. Duke's basketball going down. That's how this. Duke is not an elite team. Sorry, they're not. Cade Klubnik is not good. He's not good. He's good. He's a good quarterback. There's no question about it. He's not developed enough to play elite level, Heisman level in college football. He looked very uncomfortable in that game. Almost probably should have had 4 or 5 interceptions, had 1. Yeah. Clemson's offensive line was a question in the offseason. How would they perform? Offensive or running wise, they did really good. They did pretty good. Not so much pass blocking. Cade Klubnik needs protection. He's not developed enough to quickly read defenses like Duke. Duke has a really good defensive team, and their pass blocking is bad. And here's the issue with Clemson that's happened in the past 2 years, and it will continue to happen until Dabo Swinney fixes it. Dabo Swinney needs to hit the portal. They're going to be mediocre at best until he hits the portal. He might never hit the portal, and they're going to be mediocre. You need to hit the portal. Times have changed. Clemson, your all-in program, whether you're all in or all out, has worked 6-7 years ago when they beat Alabama twice in the national championship game. You got lucky one time. You did get lucky one time. I will say that. But the other time, you won. In 2018. You got lucky in 2016. That worked. It worked. But, I mean, obviously times have changed. Transfer portal rules saying that players are allowed to play immediately after transferring. Well, Dabo Swinney didn't like it. He didn't change his philosophy about the transfer portal. He hated it then, and he still hates it now. Keon Coleman transferred from Michigan State. Peyton Thorne left Michigan State. And Keon Coleman from Michigan State decided to leave and go somewhere else. Would have been nice. Clemson fans, I'm going to ask you this question. How would it look if Keon Coleman, after what we saw Sunday night, would it have been nice to see Keon Coleman in a Clemson uniform with a tiger paw and a helmet playing against Duke yesterday? It would have. Now, Dabo Swinney hates the transfer portal. Well, he loses out on guys like Keon Coleman, and you lose. Wide receivers were not that good. They haven't been good for the past several years, really since your last really good receiver was Justin Ross, and he really didn't turn out that good. And then you had what's his name, Hunter Renfrow, who's decent in the NFL. That's it. That's all you had. Sammy Watkins, Hunter Renfrow. Since then, you haven't had mediocre wide receivers at best since 2018. Maybe 2019. And then 2020, you guys started to dip. And that's going to continue to happen. You're going to continue to lose 2 or 3 games. Maybe even more than that. Until Dabo decides to finally change his philosophy on the transfer portal. Clemson has the potential to be really good. They have really good players. They have Peter Woods. Cade Klubnik was really good. He's still really good. He's still really good QB. But, yeah. Nothing to rag on. I mean, Clemson just looked awful. They had 2 turnovers in the red zone. Missed 2 field goals. Scored 1 touchdown off of a deep turnover. And that was pretty much it. It was just a sloppy game all around. And Duke pulled out with a win. 28-7, I believe it was. Yeah, so the transfer portal is needed in order for Clemson to have success. I think we saw that yesterday. And then we're going to talk about the targeting call a little bit. Now, sometimes it's going to be like this. It's going to be where I'm low, and I'm not really, dogging on these teams and trash talking them. But Dabo Swinney needs to change. He needs to change his philosophy. Garrett Riley is going to help his team. But who really thought that he was going to change this offense in a year? Not with Dabo Swinney constricting him. I think in a few years he's going to change this offense. But he clearly was not ready. Yeah, so the targeting call is 4th and 10 with like 6 or 7 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Cade Klubnik decides to run, had a really good run, and got near the first down marker. It was like 1 yard shy when he started to slide, and that's when he was down. And then after the play, the targeting happened. Ruled. That was ruled. I don't like that rule. I hate it. It seemed like that play rewarded the Duke defense for targeting It hurt Clemson. But I think that also could be something that could be looked at as not as an ejection, but 15 yards and a warning, maybe, to a player, but nothing too crazy. And then if it happens again, then you eject them. But, man, I did not like that ruling. But it was the correct ruling, and we have to go with it. Duke gets the ball back. I think they actually score that drive. Maybe not score, but, yeah. I think it was actually the next drive, and it may have been the next 2 or 3 plays after that when Cade Klubnik threw the interception. But yeah, that was a targeting, no doubt about it. LSU. Brian Kelly. You have got to be the worst choker in big games ever as a college head coach. You have to be the worst choker in a big game as a head coach ever. Why in the world would you be dumb enough to risk plays to go for 2 or to go for touchdowns on 4th and 1 in the first quarter? Last year you did it against Alabama. That still hurts, but I'm going to be honest, I was really smart. I said it was really smart after in that kind of game. But still, if that would have not happened, Alabama would have won. We would be talking about that today. But anyway, you guys actually did get it. Good for you. You're smart. That's the only time I've seen Brian Kelly make a really, really good choice in a big game, in a big moment of the game. It was a big moment. It wasn't the biggest moment, but it was a big moment in the game. Twice in the first quarter, I think it was, when Brian Kelly went for him 4th down near the goal line. Florida State's defensive line, Jared Verse and all them, immediately stopped him. Brian Kelly, you learned it last year when you beat Alabama. When you make those plays, when you make those calls, if it works, you look really, really smart. If it doesn't, you look really, really dumb. Last year, you looked really, really smart. And I give you that. But you look dumber than a box of rocks right now, going for those 2 plays. And I think that changed the complexion of the game. Now, it was a really good first half, back and forth. Actually, LSU had the lead going into the second half. I think it was like the final play of the first half when they kicked a field goal to take a 17-14 lead at the break. So you have the lead going into the halftime. It was a really, really close game. And then Florida State takes it right down the field and scores on the very first drive of the second half. And then it happens. Florida State starts bullying around left and right. It was like a cat playing with a mouse. That was one of the worst halves I've ever seen in an SEC West team play. That was horrific. That was just sickening to watch. Jada Danielson this game would have been, I don't know how in the world, LSU, you have a really, really good defense. I don't know how in the world Jordan Travis probably played the worst first half he's ever played. He looked absolutely terrible in that first half. He looked lost. He looked very uncomfortable. How in the world did they score 2 touchdowns on you? How in the world did... It was almost tied at halftime. Oh my gosh, y'all are horrible. How in the world do you do that? Oh my gosh. You decide to give up because Jordan Travis played a really not so good first half. You gave up because he finally wakes up and takes his team right down the field and score. And it goes up and down the field on you the entire second half. and absolutely destroys the crap out of you. Put your DNA all over the stinking field. And it still hasn't gotten cleaned up in Orlando. LSU's DNA on the defense is all up and down the field in Orlando. Just DNA just all everywhere. Rain, not even rain can melt it. It's all over the field. They took your soul away. Jordan Travis took your soul away. Keon Coleman beat you up by himself. That defense, your defense played horrible. Your team is horrible. LSU, come on, get a grip. This is the first week of the year. You have a couple weeks to tune this up. But when you play Alabama, when you play Ole Miss, when you play Auburn, when you play Georgia, if you even play Georgia, you might not play Georgia. I don't even know. When you play Arkansas, when you play Texas A&M, you're going to get absolutely beat up all and down the field. Florida State absolutely bullied you in that second half. And that's going to happen the same thing in all of those games I just mentioned. Versus Alabama, versus A&M, versus Ole Miss, versus Arkansas. You're going to get absolutely bullied in the SEC West if you don't clean this up on defense. Part of the reason why he got bullied, where was Harold Perkins? Did he even play? I don't know. I never heard of him. In that game. How in the world Harold Perkins literally every snap drop back? Brian Kelly, I know you're a good coach. You're a really good coach. You've done really, really well. Why in the world would you put Harold Perkins in that position? Harold Perkins is an absolute beast mode. I am scared. Going into this season, I was scared to play LSU. I was scared to play LSU last year because of Harold Perkins. And you absolutely take him away. Guess what? Florida State goes up and down the field on you. Jaden Daniels, what the frick are you doing? You absolutely got clobbered. You try to go up in the middle of this defensive line with Jared Verse in them, and they absolutely smack you and push you right into the ground after you're trying to leap a player. That was an embarrassment. Now, we're dogging on LSU. I'm just laughing. I'm still trying to laugh. I died laughing. My laughing mainly won't be in this video because I'm trashing them. I'm trashing it seems. How good is LSU though? They're not like I was describing their defense. They're not that good. They're not that bad. Okay, they're not that bad. They're actually really good. LSU or Florida State though is really really good, and you'll see that in my rankings where I put them. They're 9-3 at best. You're going to lose twice. You're going to lose to Alabama. I mean, just go ahead and put that in the loss column. You're going to lose to Auburn, A&M, Ole Miss. You're going to lose to one of those teams. You're going to be 9-3. You're not going to win the SEC West. You're not going to win the SEC. You're not even going to make the playoffs. You may not even make any of your sixth game. So 9-3 at best. I think that's a really good season. I think you do fall short, though, of your expectations for LSU. I don't know why. I don't know why people are putting LSU in their playoffs. How in the world would you think that LSU is in your playoffs? They didn't even improve left and right on the offensive line. Wide receivers are good, okay? Quarterback's good. Running back, who's the running back? I don't even know. They're 9-3 at best. That's how good they're going to be. All right, TCU. TCU. How in the world do you lose 45-42 to a first-year head coach who have 90 new players on their team? Oh my gosh, TC, you're horrible. Oh my, you're absolutely horrible. Garrett Riley's gone because he knew you guys were going to be terrible. You don't have Max Duggan. You don't have Quentin Johnston. You don't have any of the defensive players they had last year. No more running game. Oh, that was hilarious. When you robbed our spot. Well, you and Ohio State robbed Alabama's spot in the playoffs last year. That was embarrassment what you did in the national championship game, and you just got embarrassed in week 1. That's all I got to say about that game. That was hilarious. Thank you for the great laugh, TCU. Now, who want to look good? And that team is Colorado. Colorado played absolutely amazing. Oh, man, that was a great laugh. But Colorado played absolutely amazing in that game. Shedeur Sanders had 500 yards passing. Dylan Edwards, true freshman running back, played absolutely insane. Travis Hunter's insane. Man. Their defense is not that great. They're going to tune that up. Deion Sanders is going to tune that up. And Travis Hunter played at over 100 snaps in that game. Unbelievable. Colorado's really, really, really good. And they are in the top 25 this week because of that performance. Alabama. There's a lot of questions about Alabama. And we would answer most of those this week. Especially at QB. Well, first drive of the game. Bad snap. And Jalen Milroe takes himself for his first rushing touchdown of the year. For his first touchdown of the year. For Alabama's first touchdown of the year. And Jalen Milroe goes absolutely dominant in that game against Middle Tennessee State. Alabama played a very, very clean game. Only one penalty that I saw was big. They might have had some false starts and stuff. I don't even remember. Not many penalties, if any, like big ones that we saw at all. And then the one penalty that I'm thinking of got offset because Middle Tennessee State had a penalty. No turnovers for Jalen Milroe. No. The only bad thing that I saw that we can easily clean up is that bad snap. That's the only bad thing I saw. The running game could play a little bit better, I think. Defense played absolutely amazing. Caleb Downs played well in his first game in the Alabama uniform. Congratulations. Roll Tide, of course. Duke absolutely played well last night. And mainly, not their offense. Their offense played okay. Riley Leonard played really, really good. Their defense played insane. Clemson wide receivers had absolutely no run to roam around the field. Duke just made sure that it was like a wall that Clemson receivers were attached to. And Cade Klubnik had no run. So that's why they're on this list. Florida State played absolutely insane. They blew out LSU. It was down. They bullied LSU in that game. We all know what happened. Keon Coleman, insane. Penn State destroyed West Virginia. West Virginia might be the worst team in the Power 5. And Drew Aller, whatever it is, he might be your Heisman. He might be, well, not your Heisman, but he's definitely a guy that's going to help Penn State this year. And with this defense and with this offense, Nick Singleton, Penn State is going to embarrass the crap out of Ohio State. They might even win the Big Ten West. They might even win the Big Ten. With how they played Saturday, they might win the Big Ten. They might be in the playoffs. We'll see. Teams who won but looked bad. Ohio State. Ohio State played absolutely horrific. Kyle McCord is absolutely horrific. I've said this. I've recorded a few videos. I just haven't posted them. But Kyle McCord is absolutely horrific. Horrific. You got 2 NFL wide receivers and Emeka Buka and Marvin Harrison Jr. And he had Stover. And he only won 23-7, 23-3, 20 point win over Indiana. Now, Micah, you just said that they have two really, really good wide receivers. Oh, and not to mention Travion Henderson. How in the world? You're only telling me that Ohio State only scored 23 points in a 60-minute football game. Yes, I did. Ohio State's offense is horrific. Their offensive line is absolutely soft. Their defense hasn't gotten any better whatsoever. Indiana's defense is actually really, really good, which could help them into some upsets this year. But, I mean, their offense should have at least scored more than 23 points. And no, they're absolutely horrific. And this might surprise you. Am I reading this correctly? I'm not supposed to show you. I want to show you my top 10. And that's on the back of this page. Am I reading that correctly? Georgia? Wait. Huh? Is that right? Georgia? The defending back-to-back national champions. Is that right? Yeah. Wow. That's Georgia. Wow. Mikey, you're telling me Georgia played UT Martin, and they absolutely played bad. They played bad. No, I'm not saying that. Now, what are you saying, Micah? Well, I'm saying they played bad in the first half. It was an extremely close game in the first half. The offense just did not click whatsoever. And then they played well in the second half and pulled away. Texas. You played the food. And you're on this list. Texas, you look absolutely horrible. You need to clean some stuff up. The O-line is absolutely trash. Alabama's going to rip you up to pieces if you don't clean up that offensive line. That's all I got to say about Texas. Team of the week. We'll have a couple of these as we go throughout the season. We have a code team of the week. Florida State. We all know that. And then we all know the other obvious team. Is that right? Wait, what? How? And the team of the week is always for teams that won. And these rewards that I'm about to give out each week is, the teams that won. Just so you know. Is that right? What does that say? Colorado team of the week. What? Yeah. Colorado is the code team of the week, including Florida State as well. Code team of the weeks. Game of the week. We all know who that is. Colorado TCU. Really, really good game offensively. And coach of the week. Wait, is that right? Do I see that? Do I see that correctly? Not Mike Norvell. Not Nick Saban. Not Kirby Smart. Deion Sanders, the coach of the week. Are you freaking kidding me, Mikey? You're telling me the first game of the week, or first game ever for Deion Sanders in a Power 5 program. They played a team who was the runner-up from last year. And you're telling me that he's the coach of the week? Yes, I'm right. He's the coach of the week. I did say that Deion Sanders is the coach of the week. Brought his team to an upsetting win over TCU. And this game was at TCU, just by the way. And one thing about TCU. How in the world did Chandler Morris beat Max Duggan out for the starting job in week 1 last year? How in the world? He's absolutely horrible. I forgot to mention that earlier, but he's absolutely horrible. All right, my top 10 will go from 10 to 1. LSU at 10. They lost. I still have them in my top 10. They're pretty good. Number 9, Notre Dame. Notre Dame absolutely is a really, really good team. They got Notre Dame could absolutely beat Clemson. They could embarrass Clemson. They might even embarrass Ohio State. Ohio State might be a 3-loss team. Maybe even more than that. Before we get to the end of the season. Washington, Michael Penix played absolutely well in that game. I didn't have them on for a reason because there were some question marks that I had. for Washington. So if there's some teams that won, that played good, but I have them in the neutral. So that's why they didn't get on the list, because there's some issues that I have with them, but they didn't play bad. Is that right? Do I have them right there? Yes, I do. Ohio State at 7. Listen, I have Ohio State at 7. Alabama jumped them. Florida State jumped them. USC jumped them. And that's a surprise. And Penn State jumped them. Penn State jumped Ohio State this week. And it might not even be close. You're not going to be a top 5 team. You were 3 last week. You're not going to be a top 5 team if you embarrass yourselves like you did last week and almost lose to Indiana. USC number 6. I'm still having some concerns about USC, especially defensively. They played well defensively, but it was not against a really good team the past 2 weeks. I don't know. I think Colorado could beat Florida State or USC. I don't think they could beat Florida State, but I think they could beat USC right now. It's going to be an offensive game in about 3 or 4 weeks. Number 5, Penn State. Penn State's really, really, really good. Yeah. Drew Lars is going to be really, really good this year. This might come as a surprise to you. Alabama at 4. They didn't move up and they didn't move down. They played really, really good. I think they played enough to stay at that 4 spot against a team like Middle Tennessee State. It scored in the 50s, which we haven't seen in a while for Alabama. I think he played really, really good. Florida State jumped Alabama. And that's because it was a top 10 team. That's the only reason why I have Florida State over Alabama. Now, if Alabama plays really, really well on Saturday, they might be ahead of Michigan. Because, I don't know. We'll see. Michigan is 2. They played well. They didn't move up. And then, of course, Georgia is number 1. Georgia and Michigan played well. They didn't play great against the teams that they did play. So, again, that's how the losership meeting is going to go. We're going to laugh. We're going to trash. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a fun time in this video. It's going to be longer videos, of course. And we'll have my playoff predictions. I think we're going to start that in week 5. Let everybody get into conference play. And we'll get started in playoff predictions probably in week 5 is when we're going to get underway with that, as well as Heisman predictions, which would be our 4 Heisman finalists after that week. We're going to continue to have all 3 of those. I might add player of the week. I don't know. I think coach of the week and team of the week and game of the week is really, really good. But, yeah. Again, I'm going to probably record my predictions for NFL and college football. We do have both starting this week. NFL starting this week. That will probably come out. Both of those will probably come out tomorrow. Separate videos, of course. And if you're wondering, 12-3 Clemson losing to Duke. I had Clemson winning that one. So, 12-3, really good start. I'll have a quick reaction video. I might not do that, actually. I don't know. We'll see. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I hope you stay tuned. And if you watched all the way through, comment Dion if you watched this video all the way through, and be honest. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Prediction videos coming out tomorrow. Peace out.